Hello, I am Anthium, and welcome to TwoTales Talks. Now, it's been a while since I got in front of the camera, and a bunch of stuff going on for that. Um, but before I get into the topic of today's video, I know there's a lot of really bad stuff going on in the world right now, and a lot of people have it far worse. But let me tell you, it has been absolutely insane in like the last 48 hours. So right now, to my count, and my wife, who right now is playing Monster Hunter World, will correct me. We have reports of 4 water mains broken in the area. A storm that happened about 2 weeks ago down a bunch of power lines in a neighboring city, and since then, our internet connectivity has been absolutely trash. And right now, if I turn this camera enough, I don't know if you can see it. No, they truck. A tree went down right up the road here and was half on the power lines. So the fire department and the police were out there, and of course, this happened in like the last 30 minutes. So I'm coming home from work and I come around the bend and there's this freaking tree there, and no one knew that it was down because it was. You know that statement, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, then it actually doesn't make a sound? If a tree falls in a generally occupied town and no one hears it, it doesn't make a sound. All right, so anyway, away from the rambling. This is a topic that I'm very excited to finally get to, and I just realized I'm not quite prepared for it. So let me get a few things situated here. So this particular topic is a topic that's been a long time coming since I started my channel. It's been something I've wanted to talk about for a while. And as it is, right now, it was a hot topic about 6 months ago. And no one's really talking about it right now. So I think it's really prime at this point in time with recent events in regards to the Intellivision Amico. Yes, this is an Amico video. I'm sorry that I'm not showing like a villain. I have misplaced my hoodie and my hat's across the room. I just got in from work and I'm really not going to try that hard, guys. But so the specific topic is something that's called the 10 Commandments of Game Design by Tommy Tallarico, or be a little more blunt and on the nose. It's the 10 requirements developers are going to have to meet to be able to get published on the exclusive ecosystem that will be the Amico market. Now, I've got two approaches to this, right? And I'm sorry, I just took off my glasses. I'm trying to find this so I can just read it right off the screen. I probably am not going to include a screenshot of it, but what I'll do is I'll put in some dialogue to keep track of the 10 Commandments as we go along. It's a lot easier for me to edit that way. But all right, so the 10 Commandments are the 10 requirements that developers will have to meet to achieve approval to publish on the Amico's market. It's an exclusive environment for games in a manner that's to bring value, a guaranteed sense of trust, and a steadfast standard, right? Now, I'm going to talk about it from 2 potential perspectives. My first perspective is my most important perspective, which is I am a father and a husband. I'm a family guy first, and it's going to be my perspective as a parent. And Mrs. TwoTales, who's right over here, I'm sure she'll shout if she's not busy shouting at Shara Ishvalda. What a name. And then my second one is going to be to talk about it from the way I see it as a up and coming. I really wish I could do something about my glasses fogging so I could read. Up and coming indie developer. That's right, because this was the checkpoint for the start, and after this there will be a big announcement on a restructuring for the channel, along with a big project that I've been working on that's near completion. All right, so I might just have to do this without my glasses. This is not my preferred mask. All right, so I'm going to just go down the 10 Commandments, and then I will give my general opinion on it as a parent, and then what I think about it as a potential up-and-coming developer. All right, so Number one, every game must be rated E to E10. Now, this is a big selling point for the Amico because you have, be it the PEGI system or the ESRB system, you have an expectation of what's going to be in this category. So you know up front. Sorry, I wasn't sure if you were haying at me or haying at Ishvalda. All right, so number two, every game must be playable without the need for complicated or long instructions. Now, this is an interesting one. Yeah, no, Monster Hunter is way too complicated. So that's an interesting one for me because I don't think it's written down, but I'm pretty sure it's been said in passing by the CEO, Tommy himself, that if you can't explain your concept, I want to say it was like 5 minutes or like 7 minutes, it's too complicated, right? So I have a number of ideas for games, and because, and I'll explain this a little bit later, I see this as a gold standard. I've been trying to make sure my concepts fall into this bracket and checking these things off my list. All right. Anyway, number three, every game must be balanced to allow players with very different ability levels to still have fun. Now, I don't think this is written as well as it could be. Let's not get into the conversation about rats and the 30%. Now, so I think this probably could be phrased a little bit better. I understand exactly what it means, though. Amico is designed for family to play together, friends to play together, and they want it to be simple games so that you can have someone as old as the grandparents or great-grandparents playing with someone as young as like the second or third generation, like 7-year-old, and they can play together, they can have fun together, and everyone has a fair shot at actually winning. And that's actually really important, right? And the reason that's important is there's a number of social studies and psychological studies. I made a comment about this in a different video, so I'm not going to drudge it up. It's a really long conversation. But playing a game to socialize and having a fair shot at winning is not only really good for the development of younger children, it's very, very beneficial to the adults as well as the grandparents as a way to connect and, bond with and potentially, display better behaviors for children to emulate. So that's actually a really important concept in my opinion. All right, so number 4, and this is one I can't really comment on because it specifically says that every game must rate a 7 out of 10 on their internal scale. Now, what that means is as a developer, there's these 10 commandments that you have to meet. One of the commandments is an additional rating system that you have to pass. And if you don't pass it, your game doesn't get published. So this is, for the consumer, as a father figure, this is a moment that I not only have an idea of the age range these games are going to be appropriate for, I now have an understanding that there's 2 sets of standards that must be met. So there's stringent qualifiers for a game to even get to a place where it'll even have the potential of my family's attention. This is a very high standard. It's a very high bar. And I like that idea. It means that even if there's a game, for example, I'm going to throw this out there because it's not my game styling, but I know my daughter is sold that this is a must get game idea, must get game for the system. She's really interested in the Evel Knievel game. I have a great respect for the legacy that is Evel Knievel, but the physics racing game is not normally my style. I don't normally play games like that. I will admit that I've watched some extended footage in detail with my daughter, and it does look fun. But the point there is, even if it's a game that I don't want, but my family wants, I'm assured that it's not just going to be a junk game, that there's going to be some real thought and effort put behind it. I'm sorry, this mask is like tickling my nose. It's driving me nuts. I don't like it. I don't think she ever said it's tickling my. Never mind. Okay. Anyway, so moving on there. Every game must be less than $10. Now, I know there's some comment, as Mrs. TwoTales said, yes, please, right? My wife and I have legitimately stopped looking for games to buy. The big reason for that is we still get the Game Informer because we have the GameStop Pro rewards and that sort of thing, and we track franchises that we're loyal to, like Resident Evil or Monster Hunter, stuff like that. But generally speaking, at 60 and potentially $70 a game, and we like collector's editions. I'm gonna be doing a video as soon as my limited run comes in, which it still has not arrived. As soon as that comes in, I actually want to showcase. It's sort of shipped, right? But yeah, no, it's at this point in time, it's my post office's fault, right? Because we're tracking the tracking number. Or UPS, excuse me. Get on the ball, UPS. Anyway, the point here is we don't bother tracking a whole lot of video games, right? We actually like collector sets for franchises we're loyal to. Some of the biggest purchases that we actually did was my wife got the Batman set for Arkham City. It was the second one. Well, Arkham City had the soundtrack and the wooden batarang box. That was the first game. That was the first game. You know, yeah, no, it didn't. Doom Eternal was pretty pricey. I missed the helmet. Unfortunately, I didn't know that was an option. But my wife dropped like $200 for me on the last Marvel vs. Capcom. So I got the 4 giant statues in the Infinity Gem box and all that good stuff. We're collectors. The problem is as I've said in other videos, we are not in a position to do this on a regular basis. And as time has gone on, and we're looking at doing home businesses and that sort of thing, money's tighter now than it ever has been, especially with 3 younger children. So the idea of having to shell out $60 for one game that may or may not be something everyone can play in the family, this officially is something that now has to be planned for months in advance. You know, we just can't just go and buy a game. That's how tight finances are for me, and I know that my family's not the only family in that position. So the idea of knowing that I am promised and guaranteed up front something that's age appropriate, something that has passed a double quality standard, and it's going to be $10 or less is an absolute win, because now I'm in a position where I no longer have to plan months in advance for a game. I can actually go and say, hey, what about this one? This is new. I want to get this one. Or if my kids have done an extremely well job and they have built up enough in their allowances and whatever have you, this has become something that we could do. That price range is a big win for families like my family that has to budget their finances. So next one, number 6. Every game must support the official Intellivision controllers. I don't have much to say about that one. That's to be expected. You're publishing a game on a console. It's going to have to use the console's hardware. Now, admittedly, the controller has a whole bunch of features to it, and and I'll comment more on this from the developer perspective. And all these features make designing and developing an entirely new and exciting concept, because you can approach gameplay in a way that I personally have never really thought of it before. And but anyway, that's more on that later. All right, so number 7. Every game must be 2D or 2.5D. In other words, 3D models are okay, but no roaming 3D worlds. I'm okay with this, right? For me, and don't get me wrong, my wife bought me the Elder Scrolls Collector's set, so I've got everything from number 1 all the way up to Skyrim. I love all of them. I've beaten very few of them. I play Breath of the Wild and stuff. So for me, as immersive and fun as these open roam games actually are, they're actually a bit of a struggle for me. I have a strong imagination, so anytime I play a game that's open world and I design a character, the character develops a personality, and my mind creates a backstory within the world for this character. And an open world that does not give a good steady stream of this is where you need to go becomes a struggle for me, because if I wind up not being able to play for a month or so, I come back and I'm genuinely lost on what is my character doing, what was my character thinking at this point in time, because it's kind of a narrative in my own mind. I know very few people probably operate that way, but the graphics, though, on the other hand, there are some really, really nice 2D games out there. Like back in the day, I used to think all Flash games were absolutely crap. And I'm trying to remember the game. It was a little Flash game. It was using the Flash engine. It was on Congregate, but it was like I don't have my glasses on, but I'll try to get to it. It's called Sly or something. I'll have to find the name, but visually, the game was absolutely beautiful, right? And when you start throwing in 3D models done correctly, um, you can create a world that has depth without having it to be open world. And I'll be honest, a lot of the games I play right now are finite maps and so forth. More of them actually are. You know, I spend less time in open world games anymore. So I'm okay as a parent with that because I spent a lot of time in high school in arts classes. Again, I spent a lot of time dreaming up worlds and stories and stuff. I'm always using my imagination. And 2D art um, honestly can render some amazing experiences and graphics. And I know for a fact that's going to be a big win for my kids because my kids are not they're not in that hyper realistic category where it has to be this way. They enjoy things across the spectrum. All right, so number 8, every game must be an Intellivision exclusive. Even ports must be unique in some way. So this one's actually gotten some flack because they're like it's ports, it's not exclusive. A couple of things, and this is where like developer versus parent will kind of muck together. As a parent, on the other hand, um, this is appealing to me in the sense that I'm buying something that I think is gonna be good for my family, and I'm guaranteeing that this is gonna be a unique experience every step of the way. Uh, that's big in my book. Now, of course, I'll address the developer thing in just a moment. I'm trying to remember to stay focused on the parent thing. All right, so number 9, no in-game purchasing or DLC. So no ads, no pop-ups, no pay-to-wins, no random characters or grab boxes. All things that I have truly been guilty of endeavoring. And right now, I've got a particular mobile game that I've been playing that I want to pay for the battle pass on, and it's like $8. And yeah, sure, that's not a whole lot of money, but right now it's $8 that could go to like 3 gallons of gas for Pete's sake, right? Or the bottle of bourbon for my wife's. I just got my butt kicked by Ishvalda again. Grief. And number 10, every game must incorporate local multiplayer, i.e., couch co-op or versus mode. That again, that's something that speaks for itself. One of the biggest deciding factors for me for the console, and my wife can attest to this, is I said, I see the family doing a bunch of stuff, but we're all doing it separately. I want the family to do stuff together. I want my kids involved. I want my kids to learn how to play fair, play nice, to compete. Yeah, you know, like my, after complaining that he got kicked by his older brother, my youngest brother socked his brother in the nose. Or I'm sorry, my youngest son socked his brother in the nose. Yeah, I want to develop an area where the family sits together, plays together, and we can teach and work through these social development things while having fun together. That's a big win. So, as a parent, there's a lot of pros to these 10 commandments, and when I look at this game console, that's targeting a family like mine that has multiple children that are younger. My daughter's the oldest, but everyone else is in that range of 7 or younger in regards to what the target demographic actually is for this console. It's a huge win. As a parent, I want to be involved with my kids. My wife wants to be involved with the kids. We like to play together. A console like this that says, hey, you're guaranteed age appropriateness, low prices, a double standard of quality. There's no drawback in my mind for my family in this, right? So there you go. That would be my strong bias in favor of the Amico is that I'm a family guy, and it's for families, and that's all there is to it. Now, as an up-and-coming indie developer, right? And when I say up-and-coming, I mean I am rookie of the rookie. So take this for what it's worth. The short version is these 10 commandments, knowing that there's an additional internal inspection, officially makes a console that's not just something that I can design a game for. It's something I can design a game for my family that's going to be unique, where my family could play something I've built for them together, right? That's a huge motivation for me. But because of the internal these 10 commandments, and one of them being an internal quality check, this is officially a game golden standard. It's an exclusive ecosystem that you're not guaranteed to get on unless you align with the specific criteria of support of being for family fun and friend fun. You know, this close social ecosystem that they're developing and so forth. E to E10. Most of my ideas anyway, and I have a folder on my wife's computer of idea after idea with loose outlines and so forth. Most of my ideas would be appropriate for this sort of thing. Because I'm a rookie starting out, and this is not even saying, you know, if I publish for Intellivision, because there's no guarantee of that. I wouldn't expect a high price for my game. I'd actually expect a low price. So I don't have a problem with this restricted, like $10 or less price point. I find the controller to be inspirational in the ways you. I mean, ask yourself this: you walk into a room, you got 8 people playing a video game together, and like half of them are quacking at their controller. What would you think about that? I mean, that you'd call 911. All right, but see, there's that. Honestly, when I design my games in my head and I put them down in notes, the idea of making them for everyone is not something that I ever really think about. I want to make something that people will want to play, and it's either A, for fun, or B, an experience that I want to share. But that's some kind of a marketing thing, if you think about it.
What else is this?
I don't know.
But I'm not. Can you guys see this? This is some sort of suit of armor, and my wife wants to know what outfit this is.
It's a 70-year-old.
What she wants to know. Apparently, a 70-year-old guy is going to cosplay this, and she needs to know what the armor is from. Please help. This video is already longer than I wanted it to be. Look, I'm going to try and cut this off because it went way longer than I wanted. The short of it is these 10 commandments align with my personal values as a family guy. When I learned about this, and I saw how the system appeared to be designed to work and what it was designed for, the families, this sparked motivation and inspiration for me. Again, I can't say that I'll be successful. That's part of this experiment for me. And I can't say that whatever my ideas are, they will be good enough to meet these standards. But the point is when you have a defined field and a high standard that is a challenge to meet, that is a driving force for creative people and competitive people. And you better believe the developers are going to bring the very best they can to achieve these standards. That's what I expect. And from what I've seen so far, that's what we're going to get. So all the best. That's my thoughts as a family guy and as a potential developer in regards to the 10 commandments of game design for the Intellivision Amico system. Kisses to all of you. In chocolate way. Stay foxy.